Take a breath with me before we begin. Just one, slow, easy, yours. Welcome to the Slow Inhale, a breathwork and sacred living podcast from Breath and Branches. I'm Gwen Gillespie Thibeaux, and this is your Sunday anchor, a space to slow down, come home to your body, and tend to your inner life, one breath at a time. I'm so glad you're here. Let's begin.
There's an ache that shows up quietly, and you've been calling it the wrong name. You know the feeling. It comes on a random Tuesday or scrolling late at night, or when someone your age shares their news. A low, heavy sense that everyone else got a head start, that you are somehow behind, off pace, late to a life you were supposed to have further along by now. And you've been treating that feeling as a verdict, as proof that something is wrong with you, that you failed to keep up, that you are the one who fell behind while everyone else moved ahead on schedule. I want to offer you a completely different way to hear it, because I do not think that ache is a verdict at all. I think it is a compass. Here's what I mean. Notice when the feeling actually shows up. It is never random. It does not come when you see just anyone succeeding. It comes when you see someone living out a specific thing that some quiet part of you wants, but has not let yourself reach for. You do not feel behind about things you do not actually want. You do not feel behind about a life you never wanted in the first place. You feel it only where there is a real desire underneath, unspoken, maybe unadmitted even to yourself. So the feeling is not measuring you against other people. It is pointing. It is your own longing, holding up a sign, trying to show you the direction of something you actually want. Here's what nobody tells you about feeling behind. It is not a verdict. It is a compass. That ache only ever shows up where you have a real unlived want. You do not feel behind about things you do not care about. So the feeling is not proof you are failing. It is your own desire pointing at something you have not let yourself reach for yet. So stop reading it as shame and start reading it as direction. This changes everything about what you do with the feeling, because if being behind is a verdict, the only responses are shame or hustle, feel bad, or frantically try to catch up to a timeline you did not even choose. Both are miserable and both keep you comparing. But if the ache is a compass, then it is not asking you to catch up. It's asking you to listen. It's asking a much better question. Not why am I so behind, but what is this pointing me toward? What is the thing I want so much that seeing someone else have it actually hurts? That question can be tender because sometimes the answer is something you buried on purpose. A creative life you decided was impractical, a kind of love you told yourself you were not going to get, or work that means something, a version of yourself you set down years ago because it was not convenient or not allowed or too big. The ache remembers what you tried to forget. That is what it is for. And here's the mercy in it. Desire is not a deadline. Just because the longing is pointing you towards somewhere does not mean you are late to arrive there. A compass does not tell you that you are behind. It does not shame you for where you are standing. It just quietly shows you which way is yours. You can begin walking from exactly where you are today at whatever age, in whatever season, and the direction is still true. The people you think are ahead of you are not the point. They were never the point. They just happen to be standing near the thing you want. So your longing used them to get your attention. You can thank them quietly for showing you the direction, and then stop watching them entirely and start walking your own way. Let me make this concrete because I don't want it to stay this nice idea. Think of the last time you felt that specific sting, the one that is sharper than general envy. Maybe it was someone announcing the book they were working on, or the business, or the pregnancy, or the move to the place you always talked about. Notice it was specific. You did not feel it about everything they have, only the one thing. That specificity is the whole message. Your longing was precise. It knew exactly what it was pointing at, even if your mind rushed in a half second later to call it failure. That sting was not the wound. It was your longing showing you exactly where to look. The feeling you call behind is not measuring you against anyone. It is your own longing pointing. It shows up exactly where you have a want you buried. So the next time it aches, do not ask why you are so far behind. Ask what it is pointing you toward. That ache is not the proof you have failed. It is the map. So I'm not going to tell you that you are not behind and pat you on the head and then send you off feeling briefly better until the ache comes back, because it will come back. It is supposed to. It is your own heart refusing to let you abandon what you actually want. Instead, I want to make friends with it. I want you to make friends with it. The next time it shows up, instead of bracing against it or drowning it in comparison, just get curious. Ask it gently, what are you pointing at? And then listen for the answer, because it has been trying to tell you for a long time. Let me give you a breath for meeting the ache instead of running from it. This one makes room rather than fixing. So sit comfortably and let your hands rest open. Bring to mind gently the last time you felt behind. Do not push it away. Just let it be here with you for a moment. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. And as you do, ask silently, what are you pointing me toward? And breathe out through your mouth for a count of 6. And let the shame just drain off that ceiling so that what is left is just the wanting underneath. Again, in for 4. What do you actually want? Out for 6. Let the comparison go. Keep only the desire. One more in for 4. And let yourself want it out loud on the inside. Out for 6. Nothing to catch up to, just a direction, and you free to begin. You are not behind. You are being called. That heavy feeling is not the measure of how far back you are. It is your own desire refusing to be ignored, pointing you home. This week, when the ache comes, ask it a new question. Not, why am I behind, but what are you pointing me to? Then take one small step in that direction from right where you are. You are rooted, you are tended, and you are enough. I'll talk to you next Sunday.
Before you go, place a hand on your heart if you're somewhere you can do that. You just did something that matters. You showed up for yourself. You chose presence over autopilot. That is sacred living, not in the grand gestures, but in the small, repeated act of coming back. If this episode found you at the right moment, share it with someone who needs it. And if you haven't yet, subscribe so next Sunday finds you too. Root deep, breathe wide, live sacred.